Hi, my name is Steve Johnston and I am reaching out to you if you are a successful Spanish real estate agent, you speak English, and you're living with this underlying sense that there is a ceiling on your growth at your current company. You are successful, but you have a desire to do more than perhaps is possible at your current brokerage. You want to build something truly great. So today I'm going to introduce you to eXp Realty, the largest independent real estate company in the world, and I'm going to explain how their model will allow you to spread your leadership wings and build a better future for yourself and your family. In fact, I'm going to show you how, using eXp's platform, you can build a global real estate business right here from where you are in Spain. I've worked with many agents all over the world, and I can tell you from my experience that when successful agents like you are thinking of moving brokerages, most of them are looking for three things. First, they want a platform to build a sustainable, technologically advanced business. Second, they want an environment that provides lots of support and collaboration and yet maintains their independence. And third, the model has to allow them to build genuine wealth for their future. Now, does any of that describe you? Are you looking to unlock new opportunities in your real estate career? Well then, what we will cover in this video may be exactly what you are looking for. Before I get into that, I do need to tell you a little bit about myself, because if you're going to watch this video to the end, which I really hope you do, you're going to need to know that I do have a track record of success and successful leadership in the real estate industry. And perhaps more to the point, you need to know that the model that I'm going to lay out for you in this video is not a theory. We know that it works. So over the last 25 years, other than a 7-year period where I was in Christian ministry, I have been a real estate sales trainer. Way back in 2003, I partnered with Brian Buffini to bring Brian's company, which at the time was called Providence Systems, to South Africa. And over the next few years, we built South Africa's largest real estate training and one-on-one coaching business. Over the years, I have trained tens and tens of thousands of real estate agents, and having joined eXp Realty a few years ago, which is part of the story that I'm going to get to, I have now been hired by eXp as one of their global trainers on lead generation by referral. So I am a real estate sales trainer, but I also joined eXp Realty as an agent immediately when they opened in the country where I live, South Africa, at the beginning of 2021. And it has been an absolutely phenomenal experience for which I am very, very grateful. I have built what has become, I believe, eXp's largest revenue share group out of any leader in the 26 countries outside of the US and Canada. I've got about 1,000 agents in multiple countries in my team, and a couple of years ago I was voted as eXp Realty's Global Agent of the Year. So that's a bit of my background. My faith is important to me, as I mentioned earlier, and family is important to me. I've been married to my wife Danielle for 25 years. We have 3 young adult children. I also host a large real estate conference every year in Cape Town. You're invited. We love to have you there. If you can come, it's called Build, and you can watch all the replays on my YouTube channel. My initial exposure to eXp happened in 2020 when I got a call from an ex-client of mine who is now living in Canada, who had previously owned several significant Sotheby's franchises in South Africa, asking me to take a look at a real estate company that he said was going to be launching in South Africa later in that year, called eXp Realty. Now, I had never heard of eXp Realty at the time. As it turned out, I learned that they are a US-based real estate company. They were about 10 years old at the time, but because I do get approached a little bit by companies wanting me to promote their stuff to the real estate industry in South Africa, I usually just decline those offers and politely get on with my day. But in this case, what he told me about this business did intrigue me. So I started doing a little bit of quiet homework into eXp, and I've got to say that the more I found out about this company, the more I was absolutely blown away by their technology and how they have disrupted the real estate market internationally, particularly how they compensate their agents and what they have achieved. Since they launched in 2009, eXp Realty have grown to about 90,000 agents in 28 countries, and they are now open in Spain. As I learned, eXp is listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. They are the largest brokerage by closed transaction size in the whole of the United States, and they are now the largest independent real estate company in the world. And all of that has been done in the space of 15 years, which is remarkable. So, having done my own homework, I came to the conclusion that this was the best opportunity that I would ever see, and I joined eXp, and I'm very grateful for how it has changed my life and my family's lives. But now, more to the point, the question is, how have I managed to build such an unusually big real estate team in such a short space of time? I think by anybody's standards, building a team of 1,000 agents in less than 4 years is unusual. How have I done that? It's an important question because I am now looking for a few key leaders in Spain whom I will help to do exactly the same thing there. And you might just be one of them. And so if after watching this video, the opportunity does resonate with you, I want to encourage you to please book a consultation with me using the link on this page, and I look forward to chatting to you personally. So let's talk about the eXp Realty platform itself. And the first thing that I want to say is that the magic of eXp's model is that they have managed to combine a phenomenal compensation plan. How they compensate their agents means that more often than not, you will make more money at eXp than you do at your current brokerage. But they've combined that with the ability to build yourself an exit plan. Now, what does that mean, an exit plan? Well, in simple terms, it means that eXp's model gives you a way, by doing what you're already doing as a real estate agent, to firstly build a large asset in the form of stock in the company, and I'll explain that later. And secondly, set up a significant passive income through their revenue sharing system. Now, all of that I will explain to you in this video. The other thing that top agents love about eXp's model is that it gives you, the agent, the freedom of running your own business with no one micromanaging you and looking over your shoulder, but without the many expenses and legislative requirements of owning and running your own real estate brokerage. eXp is a cloud-based business, which makes them far more profitable than all the other traditional brick and mortar real estate businesses out there. They are a disruptor, and they have grown so fast because the traditional model of real estate simply cannot compete with what eXp are doing. This is not just another real estate company under a different banner. This is a complete market disruption. It's a bit like what Uber did to the taxi industry. Uber don't own any vehicles. They're just a clever app that works on your phone, and yet they are now the biggest taxi business in the world. The same thing with Netflix. They don't own one DVD disc, and yet they have taken out every DVD store in the world, including the DVD store that you used to go down to get your DVDs from. Airbnb is another example. They don't own one property, and yet they are worth more than Hilton hotels. They're just a clever app. This is what makes eXp so special, and this is what they have done in the real estate sector. They have completely changed the paradigm of real estate, and you're going to see how that works today. So eXp was founded by Glenn Sanford in 2009. Glenn had been a $60 million real estate team leader as an agent with Keller Williams, but he was building his business by connecting with his clients exclusively online. Quite ahead of his time back then. Glenn believed that the traditional brick and mortar model of real estate was unnecessary. He believed that a multi-office, even national and, as it turns out, international real estate company could have all of its offices and all of its administrative staff in the cloud. And he believed that the massive cost saving that would represent to the company should be passed back to the agents themselves. He believed that a real estate company should be owned by the agents. They should be the shareholders of the company, and they should be compensated not just for the commissions that they get on their own transactions, but also for helping build the company. So, fast forward the clock until today, eXp now has 2,000 full-time employees and close to 90,000 agents across 28 countries who all work. Now, this is going to be a bit of a mind bender if you haven't seen this sort of thing before. They all work in an avatar world with auditoriums and training facilities and boardrooms and informal meeting areas and transaction support offices and tech support offices, and of course a Spanish headquarters where you would interact with the staff of eXp Spain. Everything that you would need in an old school real estate physical office is available online because of how good the technology is. And it's quicker and it's easier to access the help when you need it. And this is the great market disruptor. It might not seem immediately to strike you how big this is, because it's all about how much money that saves the company and how they then give that saving back to the agents themselves. The fact that eXp, as big as they are, do not own one office has a huge impact on their profitability when compared to the traditional brick and mortar model of real estate. One estimate that I've seen compared just the 5 top brokerages in Europe, Savills, Engel & Volker, CBRE, Jones Lang LaSalle, and Knight Frank, calculating an estimate of how much those companies collectively spend on brick and mortar every year. The number was 2.5 billion euros. That's 2.5 billion euros spent every year on office space and insurance and utilities and maintenance and furniture and technology infrastructure and the physical office expenses, none of which eXp has. eXp are far more profitable, and why that is important is because their profitability enables them to compensate you as an agent far better, because there's so much more money going around, and eXp are fundamentally committed to sharing it with the agents. So, if you were to move to eXp Realty in Spain, what are the costs? Well, there is a 100 euro once-off startup fee when you join eXp, and then there is a monthly cloud fee of 100 euro per month for all the systems and tools and training and stock awards and revenue sharing and everything that their platform provides. Then, what split is there on your transactions? Well, before you've capped, and I'll explain capping in a second, before you've capped, you're on a 75-25 split. So you get 75% of your commission from the moment you join eXp with no other deductions. After you cap, you will then keep 100% of your commissions. But then you do pay a 250 euro transaction fee on each deal. Now, hopefully that sounds pretty good. What is the capping system? Well, this is related to the split that you're on. At the beginning of your anniversary year, every year, which is based on when you join eXp initially, you will be on a 75-25 split. But there is a 20,000 euro cap on the 25%. Which is really good news, because from that point onwards, for the rest of the 12 months, you don't pay eXp anything except that small transaction fee. So each year, until you've paid in 20,000 euros, you're on a 75-25 split. And when you've capped, you're then on 100% split on your commission. Not really a split. You keep 100% of your commission for the rest of the year, which is pretty exciting. How much are you currently paying your brokerage every year? Is it more than eXp's maximum of 20,000 euros? It might be worth doing that calculation. The monthly cloud fee that you pay obviously includes a whole suite of systems for CRM, for example. You get InMovia, all your listings syndicate to more than 60 portals. You also get eXp's integrated listing platform, which captures your leads. You can create your own microsite. You can create blog pages, landing pages, automated emails, and sales funnels. For design and marketing, you get a Canva Pro membership, and the list goes on and on. There's so much you get for the monthly fee. If you want all the details, please just look below this video and click the link to see eXp Spain's official information document. There's a lot more information in there. And of course, we can discuss these things personally if you choose to book an appointment with me. What do you do about office space? If you want to meet a client, for example, eXp are a cloud-based business, so there's no offices, right? Well, here's the good news. You get a Regus membership as part of your monthly cloud fee. Regus is the largest provider of flexible workspaces in the world. They have over 4,000 locations globally in just about every major city and town in the world, including over 30 different office locations in Madrid and 14 in Barcelona and others throughout Spain. So the Regus membership that we all get is awesome, not just for our own hometown, but also if you're ever traveling, even internationally, you will always have complimentary access to any Regus business lounge anywhere in the world. Let's talk about eXp's Stock Awards program. This is so exciting because most agents work for many, many years for the company or companies that they've worked for, and they walk out at the end of the day with zero equity. They don't own any part of the business. And I would ask you, where you are working at the moment, have they given you stock in the company? Probably not. Well, this is what eXp do. It is an agent-owned business. In 2017, eXp listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. That's the major tech stock exchange where companies like Meta and Google and Amazon are listed. This is a picture of the eXp board of directors when they listed the company. Then this is a picture of Glenn Sanford shutting down the world markets, an honor that they give to the chairman or women of companies that list on the NASDAQ. There are two general ways that we get access to stock in the company. The first is stock we are given without any cost, and there are a number of ways that happens. The second is by accessing discounted stock that we can purchase with a percentage of our commissions, which is incredibly exciting. So how do you get given stock in this company? Let's start with that. And please note that everything I'm going to describe now does take 3 years to vest. You only take legal ownership of these stock awards 3 years after they are given to you. And if you leave the company in that 3 years, you forfeit the stock, which is fair enough. They're giving them to us. Here's how it works. Every eXp agent gets a Morgan Stanley at work account. Morgan Stanley administers eXp's global stock award system. And then the first deal that you do every year, eXp will put 150 euros worth of eXp stock into your at work account. Then secondly, when you cap every year, if you cap, they will put a further 300 euros stock into your at work account. Then the third way you can get given shares is through the sponsor award. The way eXp works is that no one can join eXp as an agent internationally without listing an existing eXp agent as their sponsor. Someone's got to refer you into eXp, and you've got to list that person's name on your contract, and you will then forever be linked to that person on eXp's global system. And the technical term that eXp uses is to call that person your sponsor. Now that doesn't mean that that person pays for you, it just means that they introduced you to the company. Now, when you sponsor another agent into eXp, when they do their very first deal, eXp give you, their sponsor, 300 euros worth of eXp stock. And that's for each person that you introduce. Then the final way to get given stock is if you become an icon agent. That's eXp's top award for its mega producing agents. To become an icon agent, you have to do gross commission of 300,000 euros. Or you need to cap, that's 80,000 euros gross commission, and do a further 25 transactions after you cap. If you do either of those two things, then eXp will give you, as an icon agent, 20,000 euros in eXp stock. So eXp take the 20,000 euros that you paid in before you capped on your 25% split, and they give it back to you in the form of eXp stock. This is one of the reasons that top agents throughout the world are coming across to eXp, because even the 20,000 euro cap amount that you pay in on your 25% split before you've capped is given back to you in the form of eXp stock, essentially meaning that you are on a 100% split the whole year round. What a phenomenal incentive for top agents, and maybe that does describe you. So those are the ways to get given stock in the company. What about the access that we have to purchasing discounted stock? Well, eXp have an incredibly exciting initiative called the Agent Equity Program. This is a voluntary program. You don't have to participate in this, although I would strongly recommend that you do, whereby eXp will withhold an additional 5% of your commissions, and they will buy eXp stock for you at a 5% trading discount. These stocks that you purchase do not take 3 years to vest. You own them immediately. But you know, you're not going to miss that extra 5% if it doesn't get put into your bank account. They just keep buying stock for you every time you do a deal, and they put it in your Morgan Stanley account for you. If you work as a real estate agent for the next 5 or 10 years, can you imagine the asset that you are building up and you're not even missing it? And who knows what the stock is going to be worth in the next 5 or 10 years as eXp potentially go from 90,000 agents to 1 million agents in 200 countries, which is what their goal is. Okay, that's the stock award system. But the thing that makes eXp so special, and this really is where the magic is their revenue sharing model. When we meet personally, I can explain to you in more detail how this works, but here's the big idea. eXp take roughly 50% of all of the commission income that they receive in every country in the world where they operate, and they put all that money into what is called their revenue share pool. And they then pay the entire revenue share pool back to the agents every month. Yes, you did hear that correctly. eXp pays half the company's revenues back to the agents every month. And that should get your attention. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I said to you earlier that if you were to introduce an agent to eXp, they now sit on what we call your first tier. You are their sponsor. And eXp, as you will see from the screen, will pay you a minimum of 50% of the revenue share pool of that agent's transactions in their first year, and then 17.5% of it every year thereafter. So if that agent caps, you would be paid 4,000 euros in year 1 and 1,400 euros every year thereafter, and that of course counts for as many agents as you introduce. If you were to sponsor 10 agents personally, it would be 10 times that, up to 40,000 euros per year. But now something else will begin to happen. When you've sponsored a couple of people, it won't take long before one of them does the same. They are also going to want to benefit from this system, and they are going to show this video to one of their friends who is also going to join. If the people that you sponsor into eXp sponsor people of their own, those agents that you probably don't even know personally will fall now on what we call your second tier. And eXp will actually pay you more for agents on your second tier than they do on your first tier. You get paid up to 1,600 euros every year for each agent on your second tier. And so that system goes down all the way through 7 tiers. And because eXp's revenue sharing system is global, you can potentially get agents in the USA or Italy or the UK or Dubai or India or Portugal or Mexico or South Africa or any of the countries as you see on the screen. It is an incredible global passive income opportunity. So, how much can you really make with this revenue sharing model? I said to you at the beginning of today that eXp offers an exit plan for real estate agents. To give you an idea, if you were, for example, over the next 5 years to sponsor just 2 agents per year, could you do that? Could you show this video to 2 agents per year for the next 5 years and they decide to join eXp with you? That would be 10 agents in 5 years on your first tier. I think I sponsored 10 people in the first month or 2. Could you do it in 5 years? Well, if you could, with some reasonably accurate assumptions from what we've seen around the world, after 5 to 10 years, you would have probably around 100 to 150 agents in your whole group through those 7 generations that you would be earning revenue share from. And if you focused on attracting productive agents who would cap every year, you would be earning somewhere in the region of 10,000 euros per month as a passive income for the rest of your life, as long as those people are working as agents. You yourself do not need to be working as an agent. I've got 1,000 people in my revenue share group, and the beauty of this is that I don't do any of the transactional support or help them on their deals. It is passive income. For more detail on the revenue share or anything else I've spoken about, please scroll down and click that link to eXp's official marketing deck. Before I close, let me say a word about eXp's training. Together with some of the resources that I make available to my own group members, eXp provides training better than any company in the world can compete with, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First, eXp is a cloud-based business. You can attend training that is happening in any country in the world if you think it looks applicable to your business. For example, every week in eXp World, there is a session called iConversations. This is a training session conducted by a group of icon agents somewhere in the world, and the icon agents, of course, are the very top 2% of eXp agents internationally. And then there is a vast library of on-demand training that eXp make available, from legal training to systems training to lead generation to social media marketing or whatever, and you can choose whatever looks good to you. And then there is my own training and coaching program. I have trained, as I said, tens and tens of thousands of agents on the skills of lead generation, specifically how to work by referral. I teach a phenomenal system that is 100% predictable, and there are many, many agents who have told me that it has changed their lives. Now, I no longer make that training available to the general public of agents. It is reserved for the agents who join our eXp team, and you will get access to that and to me for free. Again, we can discuss that in more detail in person if you would like to. Okay, so if you are now at least intrigued, perhaps you are a little bit excited about this incredible technology platform to be able to run your own business, you love the idea of keeping 100% of your commissions, you love the idea of creating financial freedom through eXp's stock award system and the revenue sharing program. You love the idea of world-class training from the best agents in the world. Well then, can I ask you to please click the button on this page and book an appointment for us to talk. As I said, I am looking for a few key leaders in Spain to build with, and you might just be one of those leaders. I want to thank you for giving me your time today, and I look forward to meeting you personally.